We have another speaker tonight. He was running for, hopefully to defeat Rosa DeLaura. And this gentleman is running for the 3rd District for U.S. Congress. Everybody please help me welcome a hopeful Winsley.
First of all, thank you very, very much for having me this evening. I'll try not to take up too much of your time. And I was sitting there, back there, listening to Dan, and I thought about getting back home and someone asking me, well, Wayne, how does it feel to be in a room full of American gun owners? And the word that came to mind was safe. I'm running for Congress for one driving and compelling reason. That is because I am bound and determined to do everything possible within my power to make sure that our children have every opportunity possible to do better than we did and not worse. Because if you look around right now, we are in danger of, for the first time, having a generation that will end up doing worse than the previous generation. And this is past the point where it's just a Republican versus Democrat issue. This is an American crisis. You know, before I decided to run for elective office, which, by the way, I've never sought elective office before, never held elective office. I'm an American who is fed up with the way things are going. And as I look around this room, I see a small group of committed and involved Americans, and I think that's the coolest thing, because this is how we got this great country. This country was started not by career politicians, but by a group of farmers, fishermen, merchants, regular people meeting in taverns and saying, you know what, this has got to stop. Someone's got to do something. And they pledged their lives and their futures and their fortunes to doing that. And now, I don't think for a second that I am as great as any of those great individuals, but I do believe that my love for this country is as great. And that's what brings me here. We're looking at where things are going. In 2008, the last time we elected a president, this country, America, was #1 on the list of the world's most competitive economies. In 2011, we are #5. We have fallen behind Norway, Finland, Sweden, Singapore, and Switzerland. We have now reached a point where the number of entrepreneurial business starts, small business, the actual heart of our economy, small business, the number of entrepreneurial business starts in 2011 has fallen back down to the level we were at in 2004. It is obvious that we are heading in the absolute wrong direction. You know, our government is spending our country into oblivion, saddling us with a debt that our grandchildren won't be able to pay off. And prior to this, I traveled around the country and around the Northeast speaking to high school and college students as a motivational speaker. And my message to them is very simple. I tell every child I speak to that in America, you can achieve anything you want through a combination of education, determination, and hard work. That is the American dream. That is the promise of America. That's why people got into leaky boats and traveled across shark-infested waters just to get here, for the promise of America. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that promise is in jeopardy now. We have got to start sending different people to Washington. People who remember that their job is to represent the will of the people. I'm not going to stand here and give you a whole bunch of promises. I will promise you one thing, that I will never forget who sent me to Washington. The key word is representative republic. That's what we have. We have politicians right now. My opponent in the 3rd District has been in office for 20 years. And the heart of the district, great city of New Haven, 20 years of supporting Rosa DeLauro. What do they got? Just about 10% unemployment and a monument. That's what they got. We've got to start picking new leadership and get this country back in the right direction. Bringing jobs to Connecticut and putting people back to work here and in the rest of the country. One of the things to do to get that done is lowering the burdens on small businesses, letting businesses get back to work so that they can hire people. Government doesn't create jobs. They don't. You know what creates jobs? Businesses, people selling goods and services, making a profit and hiring people to help them do it. That is the only thing that has ever created jobs in a capitalist society, which, by the way, America is, and I am proud to be a capitalist in America. The other half of that, though, is we have got to stop the spending spree that's going on in Washington right now. I mean, come on. Rosa DeLauro right now is her latest bill is the diaper bill. Well, I'm sorry. You know what? Government should not be diapering babies. I'm sorry. Call me draconian or what? But no. No. Diaper companies, they can diaper babies. Charitable institutions can help. Well-meaning Americans reaching out to help their fellow man and woman, they can help. And instead of seeing a problem and saying, oh, there's a problem, government can handle it, we'll spend some money. We'll take some money from you, and from you, a little bit from you too, and we're going to just give it to these people and over here, and we'll fix the problem. That's not how it's done. And guess what? We can't afford to do that anymore. Got to cut spending, and we've got to cut taxes. It's as simple as diet and exercise. Any doctor will tell you that exercise is great, diet is great, but to get the full benefit, what do they tell you? Do both. Diet and exercise. You want to jumpstart this economy? We have to lower the tax burden on businesses, and we have to stop spending at the rate that we do. And that is how I will legislate. That is how I will work towards getting our country back to work, if you give me your support. And now I know a lot of people are thinking, well, Wayne, you do realize that you're going up against Rosa DeLauro. He's been there 20 years, got more money than Croesus. I mean, how are you going to do it? Well, yes, it's a big job, it's a big challenge, and we are absolutely going to need every nickel, dime, and dollar that our Americans in our district and those out of the district are willing to help us with and support us. Now, I'll ask you to support us. Go to the website, WayneWinsleyForCongress.com, and help us out. But I'll tell you this as well. We have reached a point where there are Republicans, independents, and Democrats who are, quite frankly, fed up. And we understand that we have got to turn this around. And that's who I'm talking to. And yes, I believe that I'm the right candidate at the right time that can not only energize and unite the Republican base, but I can also do something that Rosa hadn't had to do in 20 years. That's make her fight for her base as well. And that's how we can win. As a team effort across the board, we can actually do this. Now, Connecticut Citizens Defense League, CCDL. I haven't said a whole lot about the Second Amendment and about gun rights, because you know what? My interpretation of the Second Amendment is really pretty simple and basic. So I don't have to say a whole lot about it. To me, it means this. The Founding Fathers gave us the Second Amendment so that citizens could bear arms as a hedge against government tyranny, period. Are two groups of people that I would keep from having firearms. That is violent felons, because personally I believe that yes, after you have served notice on society that that you are not capable of abiding by our laws, no. And violent felons, no, I would not give them a firearm. And the second group is mentally ill people. Not the kind of well, hey, my neighbor is talking to himself, come get his weapons. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, that law that we passed some years ago back here in Connecticut, you know, had people losing their firearms because they're mentally ill. No, mentally ill people. Those are the only two groups that I would curtail firearm ownership. Now, don't really consider myself a gun activist. However, I'll tell you this. In 1996, when then President Bill Clinton passed the assault weapons ban, exactly, I was living in Stone Mountain, Georgia at the time. I got up immediately off my couch and I went and bought an assault rifle, a banana clip, and a speed loader just to register my displeasure. That's where I am on that.
Same thing happened 3 years ago.
Exactly. You know? But no, I will tell you this. As a representative, as your representative in Congress, I will not support any law or any bill that would further curtail the rights of law-abiding citizens to exercise their Second Amendment rights. No, not at all. One thing that I would like to see is if there was some mechanism that would allow for violent criminals who commit crimes with firearms to actually be punished under some of the existing laws, because right now, when a violent felon gets arrested, commits a gun crime, one of the first things that's plea bargained away is the mandatory gun sentence. That is a crime. The people in this room, you're not the problem. No. I like the fact that my fellow Americans are armed. And you're absolutely right. America it's impossible to invade America because we have guns. Yeah. Look around the world. Any regime that wishes to impose tyranny, the first thing they do is disarm the citizenry. That's the first thing they do, is take the guns away. So that's where I am on that. Not at all. But getting back to my original point, we have got to take our country back from the career politicians who have forgotten who they represent. And when I say career politician, and you're going to hear that a lot, especially in my particular campaign, I want to be clear who I'm talking about. See, I have no problem with honest, hard-working public servants who choose to make politics a career. No, it is honorable and often thankless work. I do have a problem with career politicians who have forgotten who they're supposed to be representing. I do have a problem with career politicians whose idea of spreading the wealth is taking your money in campaign contributions, running it through the Democratic Party in Washington, and bringing it back home in the form of a paycheck to their spouse. That, and while perfectly legal, really shady, isn't it? And we can no longer afford shady politics from shady politicians who are simply going along to get along. We can't afford the same old, same old. That's why I'm standing before you today asking you to support my run for Congress so that we can elect new leadership in the 3rd District and get our country moving in the right direction. Thank you very much for having me today.